Jukebox magic leads away. With every dance we find our groove. So come alive, let's make a move. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Hit the floor, the jukebox fades. Leather boots will red ablaze. Neon lights casting shadows bright. Dance all night, lose a track of time. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll.
Okay.
Feel the rhythm, take control.
Are you going to introduce me? Or what?
Feel the energy.
Come on. Well, good evening, everybody. I want to just, first of all, thank Brad here at NMI News Service for hosting our show tonight. My name is Donna Krum. A lot of you know me with my nickname of Dental Donna. I'm one of the owners of Paradise Dental Spa on Middle Road there in Gualarai. But we're not going to be talking about teeth tonight. We're actually going to be talking about everything to do with the baby boomer generation. And those of you that are listening tonight, you fall in one of two categories. You either are a baby boomer, meaning the generation that was born between 1946, right after World War II, 1946 to 1964. That's the baby boomer generation. So you're either a baby boomer, or maybe you heard about this show and you're tuning in because you are a baby boomer, or you know or love someone who is a baby boomer. Okay, so that's pretty much everybody, right? We all know somebody or love somebody that's in that age category. Something that hit me just recently, you know, I've always been very proud of being a baby boomer, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but the youngest baby boomer now is 61 years old, and the oldest is 78. That was a little bit shocking that we've gotten to that point. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. There's a couple of different reasons why we're here tonight talking about the baby boomer generation. And for example, the traits of a baby boomer generation, we were the original, we were the rock and roll generation, right? We had Elvis, we were the Beatles generation, we were the Woodstock, we were the first group of young people to have, for men to have long hair, right? And in fact, there's a picture that Brad has that he'll show it. I think we can go to that picture next, if you can find it. This picture here. Now, we've probably all seen pictures like that, but those are real baby boomer pictures back in the 60s and mostly in the late 60s, early 70s. We were, in our parents' eyes at least, we were the rebels, right? Our parents came from the generation of pre-World War II. They came from the Depression era, right? So very conservative, and they just thought we had landed, they didn't know where we came from. We were the first generation of women to have the pill, and let me tell you, we used it a lot, right? We were the first generation with no moral standards, right? First to protest. We protested just about everything, right? Whether it was civil rights or the Vietnam War. And I think the reason I love this picture that Brad has up here on the screen right now is because this is a classic look of the baby boomers back in the 60s and 70s. We are also, if you own a business, if you're listening to this show tonight and you are a business owner, we're going to be talking to you also tonight. And I'll give you an example. The baby boomer generation is the largest population segment in history. Now, what does that mean if you're a business owner? You got a lot of people that you could be marketing to that you aren't marketing to. We're a generation of, we're well known to be the generation of consumers. We love stuff. We buy stuff all the time, whether we need it or not. But I want to give you an example of why baby boomers are such an important market if you own a business. So if you go back to the 1946 to 1964, in the early 1950s, Gerber baby food shot through the roof with sales because the first baby boomers were being born, right? So it started in 1946. In the early 50s, those people were having children, and baby food went nuts. In the early 70s, real estate went nuts, off the charts sales-wise. You could make $1 million putting your sign up as a realtor because as baby boomers, we were buying our first homes, right? What's going nuts today with this generation? In fact, a class that I took many years ago, a sales training, was if you want to start a business, find out what baby boomers want, find a need and fill it, but find out what baby boomers want. Because it's the largest buying segment in the history of the world, right? You're almost guaranteed success. So what do we want in today's time? We want, or who's marketing to the baby boomers today? In the States, at least, assisted living, huge industry. Anything to do with health care. You want to send your child off into the world with a career, health care is the safest thing you can possibly put them into because of that population now is aging. Right, so assisted living, anything and everything that has to do with anti-aging. This is the generation that still thinks they're that cute, right? They're going to go down kicking and screaming. My husband said the other day, he doesn't even know what color my hair is in real life. He's never seen my real hair, right? So we spend money on our pets, right? Where does that sound? Spend money on travel. We will spend money on supplements, and we don't want to buy the cheap stuff. We want to buy the good stuff that we know is really quality. So, and the key word is always about quality. Now, we're not into the junk phase. And something else to keep in mind, I'll just use me as the example because, at 72 years old, I am a classic boomer. And my parents that grew up in the Depression, they very symbolic of parents of that generation that they wanted their kids to have everything that they did not have. They didn't want their kids to go through all the heartache and hardships that they went through. So we were a very spoiled generation. We were a very self-centered me. It's all about me. You're amazing. You're wonderful. And you see that a lot in this age group. So what I want to say, first off, especially here in the CNMI, we have a tremendous, unlike the States, we have a tremendous respect here for our Menamco population, and it's amazing to see that and experience that. But here's what I want to say to business owners: no one, and I mean no one, is marketing to us. It's like we have become the invisible generation. So there's a lot of opportunity that's being missed. And you could pick any industry, and we're going to talk about one tonight, a little bit later, that we're not being marketed. We're not being marketed to at all. So I want to share some situations with you, and I have to kind of give you some backstory because if I start out talking about what I really want to talk about, which is finding a personal trainer and getting it as a baby boomer, at 72 years old, and getting into a weight training program. Now, how in the world did that happen? Because, and I need to give you a backstory about myself. I have never in my life been athletic. I never played a sport. I'm extremely left-handed, and I had to throw and catch with the same hand, so nobody ever picked me for their team. I hate exercise in every form imaginable. I hate to sweat. I had knee surgery in 2019. I did not do I'm admitting now some things I haven't admitted to anybody. I did not do my at-home physical therapy very well, so my knee hurts all the time. My low back hurts all the time. I fell down some stairs a couple of years ago visiting my son in Hanoi. I'd only been there for like a day, and I tumbled down 2 flights of stairs and broke my shoulder. So got that going on too. Low energy, 60 pounds heavier than I was when I graduated high school. And all this to say, I never had a weight problem until I hit age 60. And then it's just been like my body's been a science project ever since, right? So I exercised off and on my whole young adult life. I still remember buying my punch card for the jazzercise class, but I've never stuck with anything, right? I stop, start. I have a true serious issue with sugar. I call it a carb addiction. It's absolutely no joke. Since 2018, twice a week I've done Pilates. We started Body Pump when we first got here, and we even did CrossFit. And here's what they all had in common. Everybody would tell us, my husband and I, oh, we work at your own pace. Well, that was just an outright lie. We get there, we're injured within 2 or 3 classes. We're injured, we're laid up for 6 weeks. It's like nobody ever, they want you to, come to there and spend the money or whatever they're trying to do, but they weren't listening to us. This age group, I tell everybody, even if we're talking about skincare, what works for a 40-year-old does not work for a 60, 70-year-old. And it hasn't been until recently, and I'm going to be sharing part of that story in a minute. I hate yoga. I have after all these years of Pilates, I have zero flexibility, right? And people say, oh, no, we'll go at your own pace, within 2 seconds. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So it's very easy for our age group to just give up on being the active people we were in this picture, for example, because we have all these little injuries and off and on and off and on. So my husband and I, we were the ones that actually brought the game of pickleball to Saipan back in 2020. But once again, all the sweat, never lost an ounce, never firmed up any body part, right? Had a lot of fun, a lot of exercise. It's a great sport for baby boomers, a great sport. In fact, the national championships are coming up next month, and there's an age category for the national tournament for pickleball in 85 and up. So, you got, I always say, what's the best sport? It's just the one you'll play, right? So we all know, move it or lose it, eat less, move more. I'm not here to talk about that tonight. But I will say, before I get too much into the rest of it, that if I just, for example, needed to focus on losing the weight, it's going to be the food. There's no exercise in the world that can outdo a bad diet. And I'm the queen of a bad diet now and then. So and I'm very fortunate from a health standpoint. The only medication that I take is I have a thyroid condition that I take medication for, and that's probably why I'm so sensitive to to the heat, to hot and cold. So I feel very fortunate about that. So if you're just looking to lose weight to, I used to call this stage of life the last act, like a play, like the last act. Well, my husband, he hated that term. He said, no, it's the third act with hopefully an encore, right? But if weight is your main issue, then work on the food first, because that takes it takes a lot of effort just to even do that. So there's an expression that I really believe in, is that when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. And not just as important as that phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. What goes along with that is not one single minute before you're ready. And I'll give you an example. I quit smoking 20 years ago. And it's a long story about how that happened, but up until the time I was ready, you could have showed me 85 black lungs and it wouldn't have mattered, right? Because I wasn't ready. But when I was ready, get out of my way, right? I did the patches for 8 weeks. I had Jolly Rancher suckers, which they don't even make anymore. And I think, heck, if my teeth fall out, I'm married to a dentist, no problem. I had it all figured out, right? But I was ready. So as I've gotten older, also about 20 years ago, about this same time period, I decided I went on a health journey, an anti-aging health journey. It's one of my passions. Now, I don't always live what I've learned, but I know a lot. That's what I started exercising and, losing weight and eating right. And my goal was just to get healthy. I didn't feel like I had been healthy up until that point. But I got interested in anything and everything that was anti-aging, even though I'm certainly not the poster child for all of that. So continuing on that journey, in March of last year, so March of 2024, at the age of 71, I became a grandmother for the first time. And this was after, 15 years of trying and, heartache and failing and, anyway, and little baby, we've got a picture over here somewhere. Baby Josephine was born March of 2024. There she is, right there with her little Miss Rachel doll. And I was very aware when Josephine was born that I was an older grandmother. And at the time I said, well, I can get down on the floor with her. I just can't get up. So my goal originally was just to be able, what we're going to talk about tonight is something that I did not ever think I would ever be doing. But my goal was to be able to get off the floor from playing with her and knowing that I was an older grandmother and, I won't be around for her, maybe even her college graduation, but I wanted her to remember me and I wanted to be the fun grandma. And prior to her being born, I was none of those things, right? I was overweight. So anyway, I started doing all this research, and one of the other things that has always been of a concern for me in getting older is I don't want to outlive my brain. So the disease of Alzheimer's absolutely terrifies me. So I mean, if there's a supplement that's being touted as good for your brain, I guarantee you, Nelson and I are taking them, because that's always been something that I have wanted to prevent. So as I'm doing my research about everything brain health wise, now remember, I've been researching all this stuff for 20 years, and I never ever had come across the fact that the number one thing to keep your brain healthy as a baby boomer, as an older person, is weight training. It's like, what? And we're not talking about the 3 or 5 pound, the stretchy band things. We're not talking about that. They're talking about real heavy, the heavier, the better. Well, I had never heard that before, but now my why, baby Josephine, is bigger than my excuses. I am the excuse queen. I will find any reason on earth to not show up for an exercise class. I got something going on. But now my why is bigger than my excuses. And it's because of this baby and wanting to be a strong grandmother. And it really had nothing to do with getting healthy. It was just about getting strong, getting this weight off. So about a little over a year ago, I started at a gym. And I was so proud of myself. So this has been going on now for over a year. But it was kind of like, once again, I felt like, man, I think they're just looking at me as a frail old lady or something. It didn't feel like I was getting anywhere, right? So about that time, I'm in the Rotary Club here, and I was in the Rotary Club with Derek Cutting, who owns Lottie Built Gym. And we were talking one day, and he knew that I was doing this weight training thing. And he said, Donna, he goes, we've known each other for a while. How come you did not pick my gym? And I said, I am so glad you asked me that. I said, because your gym is for real exercise people, not flunkies like me who hate every minute of it, all that thing I just went into a minute ago, right? And he said, no. He goes, you're so wrong. You're our ideal client. And here's what I said to him. Well, you're not marketing to me. All of your ads look like bodybuilder people, right? That's the last place I would have felt comfortable, that I would have thought I belonged. It did not have me written on any piece of it, right? And that was an awareness for him. He hadn't really thought about that. So that's how the discussion started back in April, May. And I wanted to support Derek. So when he told me what he told me, I said, okay, I've been wanting to support you anyway because you're my friend from Rotary. And so, okay, I'll give it a shot. And so I went to his 10-year anniversary celebration. I had already decided when I came that day that I was going to join that day and get the training package, the personal training package, because I knew that's probably be fun for him for his anniversary thing. But he told me in that process, another thing that my generation, we call ourselves baby boomers, but my generation is, we're not comfortable being around fit people that can do things that we can't do. It's uncomfortable for us to not be able to keep up with the class. Because see, that's not who we were. We were always the cool ones, right? So there's a little bit of a, I don't want to go and make a fool of myself, and I don't look cute in my gym clothes anymore, whatever is going on in our head. And Derek said something that I would have never thought of. Again, people say this to me a lot. Donna, you're so wrong. He said, the most supportive people for someone who's starting out on their fitness journey are people at the gym. Those people that you look at and say, oh, they're so fit, I don't fit in, I'd never. They started where you are. They understand better than anybody what that journey is going to be like. They're going to cheer you on bigger than anyone. I thought, I had never thought about that. And guess what? He was completely right. He was completely right. And because of that relationship and from a business owner standpoint, asking that question, how come you did not choose my gym? How come you did not choose my business? You get some valuable feedback and valuable information that you might never have gotten. So that kind of sent me on a, so when I went for the first time, I'm going to introduce you now in a minute. We're going to take a break for a second, but I'm going to introduce you to what I call my secret weapon for getting my vitality back and getting me on the road to being a strong grandmother and all of the things that I've been wanting to accomplish. I still have a long way to go. Believe me, we're not there yet. But we're going to take a break, and then I'm going to bring back what I call my secret weapon in just a minute.
Spin those records, let 'em play. Jukebox magic leads the way. With every dance we find our groove. So come alive, let's make a move. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Hit the floor, the jukebox fades. Leather boots were red ablaze. Neon lights casting shadows bright. Dance all night, lose a track of time. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm take control. Feel the energy, the night is young. With every step we know we've just begun. Underneath the glow we find a spark. In a world of sound, let's leave a mark. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm take control. Jukebox Mary spinning round. Every moment we're lost, we're found. Chasing dreams on a dance floor high. Let the souls, we're gonna fly. In the heart of the night where the music's sweet. Together we'll step to the pounding beat. Feel the pulse, let the good times roll. In this farming atmosphere roll.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. Got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Spin those records, let them play. Jukebox magic leads the way. With every dance we find our groove. So come alive, let's make a move. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm take control. Hit the floor, the jukebox fades.
All right, you are listening to Boomer Vitality, the podcast that proves thriving doesn't retire. If you're a baby boomer who wants to stay active, energized, and inspired, this show is for you. Hosted by Donna Krum, a baby boomer who began reinventing herself in 2024. She wants to share her journey with fellow boomers, so don't worry. You don't want to miss her special guest coming up right now. So let's welcome back to the stage and to the camera, Donna Krum.
So I'm just going to do just a brief little recap here. Is that when I was doing the research on protecting my brain, I looked up what are the benefits of, and I find out that weight training was like the number one thing for brain health. Like who knew? And I looked up. I said, the commercial that they do about ChatGPT. Are you using it like Google? That's me. But I said, what are the benefits of weight training for baby boomers? And there was like 8 of them. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but the one that we're going to talk about is number 5, about supporting brain health and your mood. Weight training is one of the most powerful tools for baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964 to stay strong, independent, and healthy as they age, which is exactly what I wanted to accomplish. Now remember, I'm in that stage now. And not everybody's where I am with this, but my why is bigger than my excuses. I am the excuse queen. Nobody has more excuses than me, but my why is bigger than that right now. So that's why I'm still that I'm still doing this. So I signed up for the weight training program, and now I've arrived now at Lottie Built, and I've never met who I'm going to introduce you to in just a second. And I am armed and dangerous because remember, no one has in the last 10 years has listened to me, or they say they're listening and they're not. So we are getting off on the right foot if I have anything to do with it, right? So I kind of walk in with I already had an attitude, chip on my shoulder. And I meet this young man here that you're going to meet in a minute, Lorenzo Sanchez, who's young enough to be my grandchild, or my son at least. And it was the most amazing experience I've ever had. First of all, it was a 2-hour intake. He listened to every single thing I told him. He was taking notes. He measured every inch of my body. He ended up right away providing me with a complete food program. I didn't know also that protein, all I knew about protein is every time I had fallen and broken something, they would say, make sure you have 100 grams of protein for healing. That's all I knew about protein. I didn't know that you needed so many grams of protein a day, kind of like to match your weight. Whatever you weigh, that in grams of protein should be a goal, or close to it, right? Holy cow, that's a whole new kettle of fish too. But every single thing that I wanted to share with him, I shared everything, right? All the times I'd been injured, all the times I hadn't been listened to, that I didn't want to be babied, but I didn't want to be injured. I mean, poor guy, he probably, I don't even know what he was thinking that day, but if I was him, I'd have just run. Like, this woman is like impossible. So the next thing I know, I have this complete food program broken down to, what to do at 3:30 in the afternoon, that no one had ever done that for me before. And what's really amazing is that I've been working with Lorenzo since May, and every single time I see him, he feeds something back to me that I said in that intake interview back in May. I don't know whether he has studied his notes or how he's doing that. In fact, the other day, he wanted me to add a slow treadmill part after we were done with the hour of weight training. And it was kind of like watching paint dry, right? I was like, so I said, now, why are we going so slow? He goes, your knee. And I thought, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So like, he remembers my body part injuries better than I do. But when you find somebody like this, the reason I wanted you to meet him tonight is, ladies and gentlemen in this age group, if one thing we know at this age is we know ourselves. We know we are not going to do this at home alone. I did that a lot 20 years ago. Tapes, the Leslie Sandstone walking home, we were buddies. I did that for a couple of years. But I know today I am not going to do any of this hard stuff by myself. In fact, when I went to Hanoi a couple months ago, Lorenzo had me, what to do while I was there, and I went to the gym. My daughter-in-law and I, we joined a gym, and we were there every day. I was injured every single day because I didn't have anybody standing there who would help me with form, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but every night I couldn't get out of bed the next day. It's like, oh, great. Anyway, so my advice to you is cut something out of the budget and spring to hire a personal trainer. I started out at 2 days a week. I just went to 3 days a week, and I do some things at another gym that are weight-wise a couple other times a week. Now, have I morphed into someone who loves this? I hate it as much as I always have. Right, that's all I can tell you. But again, my why is bigger than my excuses. It's only an hour. I watch the clock like it's like gold. It's almost over yet. But what makes it fun is Lorenzo's personality. And he does not suffer fools, as we say in the South where I'm from. He doesn't baby me. In fact, sometimes when I'm learning now, if he says, how's your knee? I'm not going to say fine anymore, because if we did 10 of it, now we're going to do 20. Right? So, but yet I have never, since May, I have never been injured. I have felt like I can't do one more of these, and I've got new cuss words that under my breath that I didn't even know existed. But I'm always able to finish. And my favorite part of every exercise, I don't care what you're doing, is when it's over. And it's always over at some point. So I don't want anybody to hear me and saying, oh yeah, this is just a piece of cake. But if you want what's possible at this age, if you want to go into the last act or the whatever the best word for that is, with an encore, this is what you have to do. You have to move. Now, having said all that, you're either ready to hear that or you're not, and it's okay. It's okay, because I wasn't ready to hear it 2 years ago. Like the smoking thing, you could have showed me every statistic known to man that exercise would help my brain, and it would have gone in one ear and out the other because I wasn't ready. But if you are ready, don't try and do it by yourself. Just, you deserve it. You're worth it. Spring for it. Get some. In fact, those of you who are not baby boomers, who know somebody and love somebody who is, this is the Christmas present to give them, right? Spring for a couple months. In fact, we're going to hear about a program coming up right now. So I want to introduce you to who is now my, not only just my personal trainer, but someone that I've really come to love and respect. And his name is Lorenzo Sanchez. So I want you, Lorenzo, to talk about, first of all, just tell a little bit about your background, how long you've been working with the Lottie Built family, and then about meeting me.
Okay, so first off, I really appreciate the introduction and being here in this podcast. Not really a person to be in front of camera for too long, but in my background, I've been in the fitness industry for about 10 years, not including personal training. Personal training part, right? I was certified 2018, so that's about 8 years as a personal trainer. But even beforehand, I always try to find different ways to work out, exercise. And back then, I don't think I've ever used Instagram or social media too much. So it's always about just following what the guy next to me is doing and everything. And leading up until now, meeting with Donna, when I found out her age, I didn't hesitate, right? I did not hesitate to immediately let them know, because the front desk, right? They always let us trainers know when a client's gonna sign up, so we can figure out who's available to take that client, right? But immediately I took her in because in the past, I would say about a year or 2 years ago, probably, when time went by fast, because I remember we still had the Cagman location.
Yes.
Right? At that time, I was training someone who was also like in their 70s, right? So probably now, they might be a little older, but I've had experience with people who's in their 70s, and the same feedback, like, wow, I never knew this exercise, I never knew my knee could feel like that with this exercise. And maybe not a baby boomer at that time, right? But there was few clients also who were around their 50s that I would help. And one thing I learned too, even for myself as a trainer, is that no matter who you are, sometimes there's going to be times in your life where you're going to feel off, even though you had experience for a while, right? So even if they used to work out back in, like if they're in their 50s and they say they used to work out back in high school and stuff like that, mm-hmm. right? Sometimes they might not have the same energy. And I always try to think of myself as someone that can help them. Even though in the beginning of my personal training career, I used to have that issue, that confidence issue. It was like, this person's like slightly bigger than me, right? Mm-hmm. Like I can tell he had muscles in the past and everything, right? But sometimes that whole confidence might not be like there anymore, because it's been like so long since they hit the gym. And I managed to take my own confidence up and still help them as a professional, no matter the age difference, size difference, or whatnot. And that's how I managed to got into Donna. Interestingly, when she first came in during the anniversary at Lottie Built, I was just like everyone's like all going around at the gym, and I was just looking at her. I was like, oh, someone looks like he's gonna inquire about the gym. Okay, and I didn't know at that time that she was gonna end up being my client. Mm-hmm. Like I really caught the eye immediately. And again, fast forward, immediately took the chance, got the contacts, messaged her right away. I think we called. So that's basically all that happened leading up to this point. And everything that happened until this point is exactly what she said, right? There's so many things that she shared, and did my best to listen, because that's one thing about us. Like as humans, we do love to talk. but sometimes you also want to feel like we're being listened to. And that's a trait that I'd always like to carry with me at all times.
And that was what was my main, when I first met you, was like I didn't ever feel like anyone was listening to me. So what I forgot to mention, I thought that meant that I needed a trainer. Hold on, we've got some technical difficulties here. Okay, I thought that what I needed was an older trainer. That was the magic ticket. You know, how could a young person understand, you know, what a 72-year-old woman was all about? Well, I have completely changed my mind about that now. Of course, I did step out on faith and agreed to work with Lorenzo, but from the very minute that I met him, within, you know, the first couple of days, and I saw how well he was listening to me, and I mean, 2 hours, for goodness sakes. And not only did he listen to what I was sharing with him, he heard me. And I know that he heard me because every single time we get together, he feeds something back to me that I know that he was listening. So, of course, if anybody of you that know me, whatever I'm interested in, you got to hear about it, right? And it's actually, I'm realizing now that's kind of an annoying trait, but it is kind of who I am. So now that I had met him, and I'm very focused on this baby boomer generation, and nobody markets to us, and nobody's, giving us what we want. I'm now became his trainer in all things baby boomer. So now, and this is not fun. This might sound funny, but it's not silly. It's true. He is now the trainer to the baby boomers. He is your guy. And he has been trained right. He knows exactly every issue. And I haven't even gone into every issue that I've shared with him. And he's very intrigued with the baby boomer generation and what's possible. And, because of all the stories that I've told him about myself and the things that we struggle with our age group, and how you could take a gym class and make it fun. Say, baby boomer class at 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, this is something really funny. When Derek was telling me about the gym, he was talking about that they have their low end membership, but he was kind of screwing up his face and saying, well, it costs, I forget, it's less than $40 or something. And he said, but it's like 10 to 3. And I said, are you kidding? That is prime baby boomer hours. We want to be home by 3:30 taking a nap, right? That's the prime time. There's not a crowd. We'll do a class at 10 o'clock, and we'll go to lunch together at 11 and blow all the calories that we burned in the class. And you could do a class and say, okay, the entry fee is some body part has to be taped up, right? You could make it so fun. Now, if you advertised a class like that, baby boomers would come to that because it's for them. They're not mingling with all these people that they can't relate to, or they're intimidated by for whatever reason. So I say all that there's probably nobody on this island that is more aware of the needs of the baby boomer population and all of the benefits of weight training and what we're looking for to save our brain. Actually, if anybody's ever heard this, all aging really is the loss of oxygen getting into your cells. So, it's a very simple thing, and everything that you can do to counteract all of that. You can age gratefully. Now, am I at my fighting weight yet? No. And why? Because I still have issues with food. And I have every hope that I will get there. And like I say, weight training by itself is not going to do it. You can't outlift a bad diet, right? And I'm still got a long way. But, am I stronger? I wasn't able to get up out of this chair before last May without using my hands. I can do that now because of him, right? And he does not allow you to, he might let you just do a few of them, but you're not going to be able to skip it. Right? Because he knows that was an issue for me, and being able to get up without help. So I can, in fact, when I do that now, I amaze myself. He knew that could do it, but I didn't know I could do it. So I'm having, it's the little things. It's absolutely the little things that excite me the most. And I'm a very impatient person, very that's another trait of our generation. I don't have a lot of patience at all. I want something yesterday. Well, it took a lot of years to get to this point. It's going to take, some time. But I just can't get over how much stronger. He takes a video of me every time doing stuff, so we can see the progress. We can see. He'll say, "See that new muscle?" I say, "Well, yeah, okay, maybe," but no. So that's really helpful. That kind of keeps you motivated and keeps. I have homework. I have homework every day. But my point is, hire him. Now, hire him. Now, in the process of getting to know him and teaching him all things baby boomer, he knows everything, he starts telling me that he and his wife has started a new business. Well, that's another passion of mine, is small business ownership and helping people launch small businesses successfully and, help them not make all the mistakes that the rest of us have made. And now I know nothing about Instagram, but he shows me how to look their company up on Instagram, and wait till you're going to see a little video clip of some of the products that they have. Now, I did not need any of them, but I wanted all of them because they were cute. They were cute, they were pink, and they were priced amazingly well, right? So if you can play that clip real quick, and then I'm going to have Lorenzo talk about his new company. He just finally got his business license, so we're excited about that. And this clip, if you missed this, or you can actually see it on their Instagram page, which is under the name FitBloom, FITBLOOM.
Yes.
FitBloom. Oh, they just okay.
So FitBloom, the whole
Go ahead, tell us about it.
All right. Yeah, so the whole concept of FitBloom, the idea came to birth, right? It was born because of the idea, as Donna mentioned earlier, about going to the gym, like, I thought the gym is like intimidating, right? Like, why would I be here? It's only for serious people, hardcore trainers, right? But it turns out it's meant for everybody of all ages. I've already, like I said, I've dealt with people in the past who are around the same age, and like the main point is about how we're like intimidating. So not every workout equipment, even as a guy, like a lot of things that are like lifting equipment, for example, like black, red, like cool colors, right? But like we're missing a little bit of that extra aesthetic, like in the eyes, like for the different like fitness products. So essentially, that's how I got the FitBloom nice and running. Utilize AI to make the images a little more bright. I have bad photography skills, as you can say, so we try to get that nice work out. And it's basically a yoga and fitness equipment. Yeah, yoga and fitness equipment. It's not just for Pilates, right? I mean, we do sell Pilates. Currently, right now, the items you can pre-order them, right? All the items are displayed at Latitude, but you can pre-order by contacting the page directly. But the whole idea, again, for the people is to have like a nice big aesthetic, so anyone, even at home, even a personal trainer, and yes, I do believe that heavy resistance training is good too. But for some people who do not have that time to go anywhere, right, it does play a role in getting yourself moving day to day, right? Moving, going to your car and going to work doesn't count, right? We're talking about trying to get the muscle to work, right? That includes like a lot of things throughout the body. I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, well, I want when we come in a few minutes, there's a piece of equipment that's my favorite that I actually took with me on my trip on the airplane. And then maybe you can show us when we take a break. We'll get some of that. We'll get some of that out. So I wanted everybody to know tonight. So we're talking about a couple different things, but they all relate to how I met Lorenzo and then learning about his new company. And the shows, the podcast that I've been a part of, my favorite part is when we get to introduce a new business. Because the economy's struggling right now, everybody's stressed out, very stressed. And so when we can launch, when we announce that someone is actually in the midst of all this, launching a new business, it's kind of like, giving birth in the middle of a war, right? There's hope. There's hope for the future. All is not lost. And, don't ever give up on the CNMI. They are coming back. It's just a matter of time. And then there are people like Lorenzo and his wife that, are even in tough times are stepping out and doing something unique. And when you'll see on the Instagram page, like my favorite piece of equipment was a grand, like $9.99. The prices are what, in addition to it being pink and cute, the prices is what got me immediately. It's like, oh my gosh, the price point on these things. So it's not about selling out. They're going to sell. We all need little pieces of at-home equipment. There are, I still do stuff at home, but it doesn't mean that I would ever stop having a personal trainer. But the price is fantastic, and it's a very quality. They're very quality. I've really never seen this kind of a combination before. We'll show you some of it before we leave tonight. On their Instagram page, Fit Bloom, you'll see the prices. You'll see all the different. You'll actually see a little video clip. I think that's probably what you were just watching of Lorenzo demonstrating a few of the pieces. But when I mentioned before about find a way to hire him as a personal trainer, I want him to also tell you something. Again, I can't say enough times, when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. So just about a week ago, I noticed on Lottie Built's Facebook page that there's a new program called Project 165 that is about introducing people. It's almost like Derek's been reading my mind after hours or something. Introducing people who are new to weight training. I couldn't believe it. But this was going to be a little bit different, so I'm going to let Lorenzo share about it, a little bit more of a group setting, which is really also a fun way to do it. So if you could talk about, I know Derek was on your show yesterday talking about it, but if you could tell our audience tonight about Project 165 at Lottie Built Gym and how that's going to work.
Yes, so basically, in case you guys already watched the previous podcast with Derek, I am one of the trainers. There's going to be two of us technically, right? Who's going to be starting that 6-week program.
Oh, so it's 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's a 6-week program.
Okay.
And again, Project 165, right? Your other 165 hours of that week is
So
as
where did
important.
165 come from again? What's that about?
So
There's 165 hours in a week?
68. So you have 3 sessions a week, right?
Oh, okay.
So that means you still have like the other 165 hours that is as important as those 3 sessions that you meet with the trainer. And that's kind of like me and Donna, right? So we have our 3 sessions a week, but I always try to remind her during those sessions, like I'm always asking a feedback, basically, where like how's your day, how's your meals, how's everything technically. And this whole project that Derek took a while to come up with is definitely perfect, and especially for a baby boomer standpoint, is to help readjust the lifestyle to make it a little more, I guess you can say, independent, while also building that confidence to help like the new ones that come in too, right? Because again, after the 6 week, you kind of become a veteran, as Derek mentioned in previous podcasts, and you're gonna be moved to like this different like a group where you can encourage the next batch of the next 6 weeks, right? And depending until then, the trainers could be interchangeable. But currently, like for now, as I mentioned, right, I am one of the trainers, me and another trainer, Aaron. We're gonna start that 6-week program together.
And then who's your target market for this new program? Do you have a target, or is it just open to anyone, right?
It's open to anyone,
Yeah.
but I would suggest the baby boomers especially.
Yeah, I would
because-
suggest it too, because can't be coincidence. The fact that this has been on my mind, I've been sharing it with Lorenzo for 6 months, and all of a sudden, the class gets formed. And I had nothing to do with that, right? It's just for any of you that are listening tonight, if it's your time, and you're ready to have your why be bigger than your excuses, don't miss this. This is a perfect way. Plus, you're going to have a social interaction. There's going to be several. It's limited to 6
Definitely,
people,
yes.
right? Small group.
It's a small group.
Groups are amazing because that's another thing for our age group is socialization is critical. We tend to kind of start
Anybody. Yes.
hanging back. We don't go out as much anymore. We'd rather stay home with the dogs, and that'll age you, right? If you're not having good social interaction with people, doesn't have to be your peers, doesn't have to be other baby boomers, but just connection with other
Definitely.
people. And so that's another thing this class will be great for, is that aspect of it. So I just can't encourage you enough. And then when that program is over, then you will hire Lorenzo and keep going, because I don't have any more starts. Okay, well, I'll do it next year. No, it's now or never. And that's the one good thing almost about being a baby boomer, is that we know we're in, the last act of a good play, right? We can't keep starting over anymore. That's really motivated me as much as that baby has motivated me, is that, well, what am I going to do? Wait 5 more years and I don't know what 5 years is going to look like? Yeah, no, it's just not, that's not an option. And I'll also say, there's great people at Gold's Gym. I'm a member of both gyms now. Who would have ever thought this person would be one of those people, right? Because I like some of their classes. My husband does his personal training over there. They have some really great class. They have a recumbent bike. I don't like those other bikes, right? So there's a recumbent bike over there that I love. So, what's the best place for you? It's the one that you'll show up to. What's the best sport? It's the one you'll play, right? Don't make it complicated, but I highly encourage you, if you're anything like me, you know yourself at this age. You know that you're not going to do it at home, or you're not going to do it correctly. When I try and do it by myself and it doesn't go well, right? I don't work as hard as when he's standing there, right? And you know what? I do my homework because I've come to appreciate him so much that I don't want to disappoint him, right? I mean, he's not even there. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to do my homework because I don't want to, I just want to, I want this to be a good partnership. So since working with me since May, what would be your advice to my age group? What have you learned from me that would help you be a trainer to this wonderful generation of baby boomers?
I mean, for a start, like Donna had mentioned earlier, she technically made me a professional, all the knowledge for baby boomers.
Right.
Because in the past, even though they're not baby boomers, right? Injury-wise, I've had experience with people with, what is that word? Sciatica.
Yeah.
Right? And I've had experience with people that experience herniated disc, right? And shoulder pain is like the most common, so definitely have a lot of experience with that too.
That is really important because injuries are common in this age group, even if we're
Yes.
semi-healed, right? And that you take he takes it into account, but he doesn't let it become a reason for stopping.
Exactly.
And he's always like hinting at what's coming later. Like, we're going to, I would say he's working at my pace, but he's not working at a slow pace. I've never experienced anything like this. I don't really know how to explain it, except that if you're where I am and you want to protect your brain, and all this research and statistics says now, eat those grams of protein, eat less, move more still is a good one. The grams of protein and lift heavy weights. Now, he didn't start me out on heavy, right? We get heavier as we go along. And yeah, I still hate it, but the benefits far outweigh. In other words, my why is much bigger than my excuses. Okay, so now we're going to take a break for just a second, and then we'll come back and we're going to show you some of this equipment that FitBloom is selling.
Spin those records, let 'em play. Jukebox magic leads the way. With every dance we find our groove. So come alive, let's make a move. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Hit the floor, the jukebox fades. Leather boots will red ablaze. Neon lights casting shadows bright. Dance all night, lose a track of time. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Feel the energy, the night is young. With every step we know we've just begun. Underneath the glow we find a spark. In a world of sound, let's leave a mark. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Jukebox Mary spinning round. Every moment we're lost, we're found. Chasing dreams on a dance floor high. Let the souls, we're gonna fly. In the heart of the night where the music's sweet. Together we'll step to the pounding beat. Feel the pulse, let the good times roll. In this barbing atmosphere roll.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. Got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Spin those records, let 'em play. Jukebox magic leads the way. With every dance we find our groove. So come alive, let's make a move. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll.
Folks, welcome back.
Feel the rhythm,
Okay,
take
Boomer.
control.
With Donna and Zoe.
Okay, so we're gonna show you. I'm gonna have Lorenzo show you some of the pieces of yoga and Pilates equipment that FitBloom has available for sale, and I want you to think about this is going to be your Christmas shopping, everybody. The price is right. Look at this. I hope you can see how cute and pink all this is. But this is my favorite piece. I travel, so whenever I'm sitting on a bike or doing something, you can use this for your upper body stuff, all kinds of ways. Put it behind your head, get your shoulders back, and it's just a great. You can do it with your. Anyway, this is my favorite piece of equipment, and I think it's $9.99 or something like that. This should be in everybody's Christmas stocking, right? So you can do your Christmas shopping, and you can actually go. I think you can buy it right through FitBloom, right through your Instagram page, or no?
Through the Instagram, you can pre-order.
You can pre-order,
Yes.
and then it's also available for sale at Lottie Built. You can buy it there, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Right. So, and also anything that you want to know about that class, we were just talking about the Project 165. There's flyers and everything on Lottie Build's Facebook page. Okay. And there's also some great new classes at Gold's Gym too. We don't want to leave anybody out here on your fitness journey. So Lorenzo's going to describe what some of this is.
Yeah,
Go
so let me just start off with like a very most common thing, especially if we're talking about baby boomers, right? Is this thing that looks like macaroons,
Yeah.
right? But it's actually pads. So basically with the pads, right, it comes in a pair. Again, looks like
Look at the
tasty-
color.
tasty macaroons, right? So basically when you're doing planks or all this stuff that involves being on the ground, sometimes the ground could be painful for the elbows or knees. And again, not just baby boomers, right? Anybody can be using these.
Yeah, right.
It's just a thing. I wouldn't mind using this at the gym too. Like, let them look at it. And basically, again, you're gonna be on the ground, right? It's a knee pad, and probably like you saw in that clip on the Instagram page, right? You want to do like a simple headstand. You can put that on your head, like when you're on the ground, right, on the floor. And again, it comes in pair, and probably
Could you kneel on it with your knees?
yes, definitely
Oh.
you can use it on your knees, right? It's a perfect foam like padding,
Okay.
but it should last for
It's very portable.
and very
Small.
portable. It's really nice.
In pink.
Just make sure you don't eat it after your workout. And then that we've got a weighted very similar jump rope.
So that's weighted.
Yeah, basically there's a little weight ball
Yeah.
on each end. So basically this is for again, like let's say you
I can't jump.
can't jump, right? Even if you're still training yeah, so basically, so there's weight in it, and if you're kind of a person who's coordinating is not there yet, you can use this like just jump and try to get that. Try not to get that stuff. Try to get that rhythm going on, right? Even though it looks funny, it's just the
Oh, you're just holding it. You're not using. It's not a jump rope.
because the jump rope, you can have like jump and kind of ride, and sometimes you get frustrated.
Oh my
With
goodness.
your feet and everything, right? But this one, especially since we're using your house a lot, right? So it should be safe for your knees, right? So you're just gonna be following music or whatnot.
I was wondering about that.
And then this one
Are these
is
bands?
there's self-defense, right? It's just bands, plastic collars,
Did
right?
you use those on your arms or your legs? How do you
Yes.
use those? Okay.
So it's kind of like you can use these on the deck. They all have different one hand, right? And by the way, like they just my wife loves
Yes.
right?
Very talented.
And also very appreciating as well.
Oh, okay. And I like the way on your Instagram page that you're actually demonstrating how to use some of this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more videos to come. Right? Just gotta,
Yeah, that's really helpful.
yeah. So definitely a lot of resistance bands here.
Now, are they different strength bands?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So actually, in each, you're gonna see heavy, medium, and
Oh.
and light.
Wow.
So you got about 5 different systems that you guys can
Okay.
anyone can use. And there's definitely a lot of stuff that you can
and pull it.
Yes, and then you can like pull.
Oh my heavens to Betsy.
Time trying to pull. This is definitely, I think it's not trying to grab it, probably my arms. Oh, there. I got a good grip. Yeah, so definitely.
Oh, so that's good for the side.
Yeah, for stretching. It's definitely a lot of stretching, right? And even shoulder mobility, right? So
Stretching is so
yeah,
important.
you literally hold it. So there's a few clips in the video that
Yeah, I saw you doing that. I also want to point out, you'll notice by listening to him, he's a fantastic teacher. He always uses real life examples and stories, and really helps whatever you're doing come to life and make more sense. And a lot about functional, how you move every day, how you reach for things and bend over. And he's also focuses a lot on the functioning part of getting motivated.
And I know every one of us have already tried investing or on yoga mats, for example.
Yep.
You roll it off, find space to like let it stand and something, and we kind of don't want to damage it. We just have to fold it.
Yeah.
But what we got in stock, right? There's still should be a few more in stock right now at Landfill. I'll display there. It's a foldable yoga mat. So
was
you're literally meant to fold it, take space, put it back, put in your favorite tote bag, right? So let's show this.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So this one I'll probably have to do. And it's really lightweight. Again, I said it. It's all about the cute colors,
Absolutely.
nice pastels, and basically just open it up just like this, right?
Remember, baby boomers are consumers. They're big
And
consumers.
I fold it just like that.
And then it
Right?
folds right back up.
Almost the size of this whole tip. Yeah, the same size of this whole tip. Right now it's in half. But once you open that, right, and then when you're done, you just simply pull it back. Because I myself, even as a trainer, right, sometimes even at home, I have holding is easier than rolling. Right? You're standing there, you're trying to roll. Sometimes one side is uneven, and this one you just hold like a piece of paper or a napkin, and that's where it comes in. And the other things that I also have in stock is a very simple light, not light, has a good resistance for anyone again. This one should be perfect for kind of strengthening those grips, right? So very lightweight. You might see a lot of these in different colors, maybe online. So normally, for me as a guy, right, as a man, sometimes I long, so it might be low. But just for any women, especially.
Oh, like the hand
Yes.
thing. Oh,
So it can be strengthening your grip or relieving stress.
ah,
You know how they have the stress balls? You just-
yes, I have them all over the house. Yes, I do know that.
Well, I think it's gonna relieve your stress more.
That's right.
Right? And good repetition, I always recommend. Just enough
Okay.
until it starts burning.
Well, and that's I talk about as you age, your grip starts to go south. It's
Exactly,
you notice it
right.
when you're trying to open jars and
Because as you age, right, for baby boomers especially, right, tying this with personal training too. When it comes to resistance training and especially weight, as you age, your body just naturally loses. It goes under for both sarcopenia and osteoporosis, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
without any signal to the body to, hey, we need the muscles to get strong, or we need the
so
bones to
so
get
that's
strong.
another reason it's actually on the list of for weight training. It helps with osteoporosis situations.
Definitely, because
Yeah.
osteoporosis, and the good thing is for me, as a trainer, that I'm just gonna add, is recently I just graduated from NMC, and right
Okay.
now a lot of stuff are still fresh in my memory from my anatomy class.
Yeah.
And even though it's not a fitness class, there's some stuff that, even though I know already, but the fact that I learned through class again, it just boosts my confidence in explaining it more. And, with the loss of muscle over time as you age, and especially the bone density, because losing weight is one thing, that's an awesome goal to start first, but reducing the risk of injuring yourself when you fall is another thing. And that's why you don't have to lift the heaviest weight in the world, right? But like as you mentioned earlier, having a good resistance training to get that blood going to the brain and to the muscle to really improve that higher chance of making the body move like it used to,
Yeah.
right?
And that's another thing I want to mention about Lorenzo is he has a maturity beyond his years. Not just because he's a good explainer, he really understands anatomy. He explains things well, and it's almost like he's been working with older people, which he hadn't. He has worked with older people, but he just seems to really understand, and he's a good communicator. It really helps because sometimes it helps to understand why you're doing what you're doing. At least it does. At least it does for me. What else do you want to tell us about your new company so they can pre-order?
Yes, they can pre-order, and there's one thing I think people might enjoy.
Oh,
actually.
that's something new. Oh yeah, what is
Yes.
that?
So this is
Contraption.
a very light Pilates board.
Oh, a Pilates board.
Yes. So basically, even though we do sell separate resistant bands, right? If this can be seen, it's foldable, right? In each package that the person buys, it comes with those mats that you can install on the bottom so it doesn't slip on the floor.
Yeah.
You can use it in a carpet too, right? Easy to carry, right? There are handles here you can carry. The tension it's not adjustable, but it's just good enough to get started on this basic Pilates movement at home. And the fact that you can unfold it, right? And each stand is basically, it shouldn't be too big to cover this whole table, right? So if I were to show you guys right now, right? It's a very simple, again, you have a folding yoga mat, you have a folding portable.
And it's still pink.
Yeah, and it's still pink.
I just think that is so clever.
I mean, the whole idea, again, like I said, it's all about that cute pastels and everything, but there will be different colors in the future.
Yeah.
For now, this is what we're gonna have displayed. And again, simple. And you even got, with each package comes with an extra foam mat. So you can put your elbows here, right? You can hold it here, holding a handle for both sides, right? And this one's too can work on a simple different ways to use it, especially.
Does it come with an instruction booklet of some ideas, or do you just do that find that online?
I'm gonna be providing that online.
Oh, you
myself.
okay? You're going to be demonstrating. Okay.
Yeah, so
Good.
over time,
Yes.
there's a lot of things that I'm going to be trying to demonstrate, and especially with my expertise as a personal trainer, it's going to feel a lot better to see instructional videos of someone you already know as opposed to like a stranger.
Right.
So that's like a good
Right.
thing that to kind of focus on, especially for anybody.
Okay. Well, gosh.
And basically, that's.
Thank you for bringing all this. I was dying to see everything, and for everybody to see this.
Arrive, but everything is all.
Yeah, and you'll notice when you see the pricing on their Instagram page, the pricing is what's amazing too. They really have priced it to sell because it's not expensive. Like a lot of this stuff. Usually, when you have something cute like this, it's 10 times overpriced, but that's not the case here. Thank you for bringing that. Anything in closing? Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience about taking the plunge to hire a personal trainer and really get into some real weight training?
Definitely. So, first off, for FitBloom, again, you can just message the FitBloom page directly, right? FITBLOOM.
On Instagram.
On Instagram,
Okay.
yes. For inquiring or asking any questions related to fitness or getting a free consultation, right? There's always a free, or let me say a complimentary consultation with any person, right? On the first time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right? They can, like what we did, right? Before
Okay.
it's officially signed up, right? So you can follow me on coach.elms, right? On my Instagram. And you'll see it. I'll be tagging a FitBloom some of the videos, right? But you can always message me through my Instagram page directly. That's where I try my best to post a lot of sometimes funny, sometimes educational content too, right? So anyone has questions, they can always look to my feed. Over time, still got a lot of improvement, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But definitely, they can always hit me up anytime in regards to questions, when to meet, what's the proper way to do things, and I'll always be happy to help.
Okay, thank you. Well, folks. That's all we have for tonight. I hope you learned some new things. I hope you have some encouragement to get off the couch and make this last act with an encore the best ever. Thank you, Brad, for having us. Have a good night.
Spin those records, let 'em play. Jukebox magic leads away. With every dance we find our groove. So come alive, let's make a move. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Turn it up, let it roll. Feel the rhythm, take control. Hit the floor, the jukebox fades.